किताब वितरण किया महाराज ने। और 1991 में महाराज ने एक भक्ति वेदांता कॉलेज ऑफ एजुकेशन एंड कल्चर BCEC करके एक एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट इस्कॉन के अंदर चालू की, और जिसमें जपा आश्रय कोर्स, कीर्तन आश्रय कोर्स, भक्ति सदाचार कोर्स, ऐसे अनेक कोर्सेज देते हैं महाराज जी। तो भक्ति शास्त्री, भक्ति वैभव, भक्ति वेदांता डिग्री इत्यादि में महाराज सिखाते हुए आए हैं। तो महाराज जी अलग अलग प्रदेशों में इस भक्ति वेदांता कॉलेज ऑफ एजुकेशन एंड कल्चर के द्वारा 42,000 विद्यार्थियों को हांगकांग, फिलीपींस, मलेशिया, इंडिया, इंग्लैंड, आयरलैंड, कनाडा, USA, मेक्सिको, ट्रिनिडाड, गयाना, केन्या, टांजानिया, साउथ अफ्रीका एंड मॉरिशस, इन स्थानों में महाराज ये कोर्सेस देते आए हैं। और कुछ सालों के पहले, शायद 5 साल के पहले, महाराज जी ने ISKCON लीड्स करके एक लीडरशिप ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम चालू की ISKCON में, जिधर सारे भारत के 40-50 लीडर लोग आते थे और एक साल ट्रेनिंग होता था। वो 4 हाँ बोला तो महाराज जी पुणे में कुंजबेरी मंदिर में एक बार 1 हफ्ते के लिए आए थे, भक्ति सदाचार कोर्स दी थी हर दिन शाम को। इस बार हमने विनती की है महाराज जी को, और एक बार भक्ति सदाचार कोर्स कीजिए, करने वाले हैं अभी। अभी पुणे में भी है महाराज जी 1 हफ्ते के लिए। तो महाराज जी रामायण के ऊपर 3 दिन का सत्र दे रहे हैं। अभी कल भी हुआ, आज भी है, आज तीसरा सत्र है। आइए महाराज जी को हम स्वागत करते हैं श्री श्री राधा वृंदावन सुंदर मंदिर में। हरि बोल।
हरे कृष्ण। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी, माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवर धारी। गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवर धारी। यशोदानंदना व्रज जनरंजना। यशोदानंदना व्रज जनरंजना। Yasodanandana Raja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hare Jaya Sitaram Laya Lakshman Hanuman Sitaram Jaya Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jayom Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Astataro Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Abai Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Founder BBT Founder Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Antaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Srila Vyasadeva Ki Guru Parampara Ki Bhaktivedanta Purports Ki Shri Ram Nami Mahamotsava Ki Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ki Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Gaur Premanande. So we have gathered on this most auspicious anniversary appearance of Shri Ramachandra, and we shall read an appropriate verse from the second canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I chose this particular verse because I was researching a purport many years ago, where Srila Prabhupada beautifully summarizes the entire, you could say in one sense, Ramayana and the appearance of Lord Ramachandra. So the purport is about a page and a half, but very beautifully described in a summarized version by Srila Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, Scheduled Incarnations. Text 23. Asmat prasada samukha kalaya kalesha. Ikshvaku vamsa avatirya guru nideshe. Tistan vanamsa daitanuja avivesha. Yasmin virudya dasa kandara artim archat. Mataji's Vaishnavis, I'm not sure if you can see it on the board. No? Okay, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. You can repeat the translation some words at a time. Due to His causeless mercy upon all living entities within the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with His plenary extensions, appeared in the family of Maharaj Ikshvaku as the Lord of His internal potency, Sita, under the order of his father, Maharaj Dasarat. He entered the forest and lived there for considerable years with his wife and younger brother, Ravana, who was very materially powerful, with 10 heads on his shoulders, committed a great offense against him and was thus ultimately vanquished. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki. Lord Rama is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his brothers, namely Bharat, Lakshman and Shatrughna, are his plenary expansions. All four brothers are Vishnu Tattva and were never ordinary human beings. There are many unscrupulous and ignorant commentators on Ramayana who present the younger brothers of Lord Ramachandra as ordinary living entities. But here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the most authentic scripture on the science of Godhead, it is clearly stated that his brothers were his plenary expansions. Originally, Lord Ramachandra is the incarnation of Vasudev, Lakshman is the incarnation of Sankarsha, Bharat is the incarnation of Pradyumna, and Shatrughna is the incarnation of Aniruddha, expansions of the personality of Godhead. Lakshmiji Sita is the internal potency of the Lord and is neither an ordinary woman nor the external potency incarnation of Durga. Durga is the external potency of the Lord and she is associated with Lord Shiva. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 7, the Lord appears when there are discrepancies in the discharge of factual religion. Lord Ramachandra also appeared under the same circumstances, accompanied by his brothers who were expansions of the Lord's internal potency and by Lakshmiji Sita Devi. Lord Ramachandra was ordered by his father, Maharaj Dasarath, to leave home for the forest under awkward circumstances. And the Lord, as the ideal son of his father, carried out the order even on the occasion of being declared the king of Ayodhya. One of his younger brothers, Lakshmanji, desired to go with him, and so also his eternal wife, Sitaji, desired to go with him. The Lord agreed to both of them, and all together they entered the Dandakaranya forest to live there for 14 years. During their stay in the forest, there was some quarrel between Ramachandra and Ravana, and the latter kidnapped the Lord's wife, Sita. The quarrel ended in the vanquishing of the greatly powerful Ravana, along with all his kingdom and family. Sita is Lakshmiji, or the goddess of fortune, but she is never to be enjoyed by any living being. She is meant to be for being worshipped by the living being along with her husband, Sri Ramachandra. A materialistic man like Ravana does not understand this great truth, but on the contrary, he wants to snatch Sita Devi from the custody of Rama and thus incurs great miseries. The materialists who are after opulence and material prosperity may take lessons from the Ramayana that the policy of exploiting the nature of the Lord without acknowledging the supremacy of the Supreme Lord is the policy of Ravana. Ravana was very advanced materially, so much so that he turned his kingdom Lanka into pure gold or full material wealth. But because he did not recognize the supremacy of Lord Ramachandra and defied him by stealing his wife, Sita, Ravana was killed and all his opulence and power were destroyed. Lord Ramachandra is a full incarnation with 6 opulences in full, and he is therefore mentioned in this verse as Kalesha, or master of all opulences. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam jana bhutale Swayam rupa kadamayam Dadati swapadantikam Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha Kripa sindubhya evacha Patitanam pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo namo namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj recalls one time that a devotee told him that Srila Prabhupada said that all of our service here in the material world is to bring Radha and Krishna together in the spiritual world. This is quite an esoteric statement. So Giriraj Swami was not sure about that statement that was quoted that Prabhupada said it. So he approached Prabhupada and asked him about it. So Srila Prabhupada replied that materialists are like Ravana and they have kidnapped Sita or Lakshmiji. And Prabhupada refers constantly to Lakshmi in the purport as Sita Lakshmiji. And Srila Prabhupada said that as devotees, we should act like Hanuman and get Sita or Lakshmi back from Ravana and return Sita ji or Lakshmi ji to Lord Ramachandra or Lakshmi ji to Narayan. Yes. And Srila Prabhupada specifically said the meaning of Lakshmi ji. And he said, money. Yes. And then Srila Prabhupada went on to say that if a inverted commas devotee takes money from people in the name of Krishna's service but uses it for one's sense gratification, he is worse than Ravana. And then Srila Prabhupada asked the question, how is that? He said, at least Ravana was killed by Lord Ramachandra and he became liberated. He said, but that so-called devotee, he becomes a debtor to the people who gave him the money. And he didn't use it in Krishna's service, but used it for his sense gratification. So then Srila Prabhupada gave that famous analogy of a peon, P-E-O-N. You know what that means? Where's the microphone? So give it to Radhesham Prabhu. He can explain what a peon means.
There is a postal peon, Professor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please explain.
Yeah, he just brings a message or a cover from someone and then he delivers it to the person to whom it is supposed to be delivered without any alteration, a change.
Without opening the envelope.
Without opening the envelope, yeah.
There may be $1 million.
Yeah, that's true.
A check there.
Yeah.
Nice. Shri Radhesham Prabhu ki. And this morning, just after Mangala Arati, Radhesham said that His Holiness Bhakti Brihat Bhagavat Swami instructed him to speak something. And he spoke. I don't know whether he carried my potency of the instruction, but he spoke. And he spoke about Ananya Bhakti. Spoke about? Who was there? Microphone. What's your good name?
My name is Sumit. Sumit.
Sumit. Can you, I want to see if the parampara works. So, what was the most important point I think you're close to this. What was the most important point that you extracted from Radhe Shyam's wonderful 10 or 15 minute explanation about Ananya Bhakti? Because I'm discussing it now. May I speak? Prabhu, when you speak, don't think. Don't
Think.
That's the mental platform. You speak from the heart. Speak. What you remember from? See, it's Shravanam, hearing, speaking, you're speaking in a Kirtanam. Smaranam is in the heart, not the mind. Mind is very naughty. Mind is sometimes crazy, and it's a sum total of all madness. So don't listen to the mind. So listen to your heart, because you heard attentively Radhe Shyam Prabhu in the morning, right? Kirtanam, Shravanam, now you speak in Kirtanam, and Smaranam is going to manifest. Tell us one important point. Oh, microphone.
When he was speaking, he was talking about that, like we cannot directly worship or love Radha Krishna before loving to Lord Ramchandra and Mother Sita. So first we should worship in awe and veneration to Lord Ramchandra, Mother Sita.
Can you give me, he gave 3 examples, if I believe, or more, I don't know, of Ananya Bhakti, of Lord Ramachandra's associates. Give me one. See, it will be a nice answer if you say, I cannot remember. That's fine also.
Hanumanji, he said actually. Hanumanji examples he gave.
Yes. What about Hanuman's Ananya Bhakti? Tell us.
Hanumanji actually,
Close.
Hanumanji served to Lord Ramchandra, Mother Sita, like with full of love and devotion, without any ulterior motives.
Without any?
Ulterior motives.
Anukuliyanna, Krishna Alusila. Pure. He did good, by following the parampara. See, it's working. Let's chant for them. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So Srila Prabhupada said we should liberate Lakshmi ji or Sita from whoever has taken away her in the form of money for their sense gratification, and again deliver back to Narayan or Lord Ramachandra. And Srila Prabhupada said that we are not meant to touch Sita. And the beautiful example of the peon is not touching what's inside in that envelope. Not meant to touch, but simply a carrier in the consciousness. Yes. And Srila Prabhupada said that if we do like that, by touching and use it for our sense gain, we have to come back in another life and pay our debt to all those people from whom we took the money. Imagine suffering again. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, birth, old age, death. That's great suffering. Already we're suffering in this life. Yes. And then Srila Prabhupada explained everything very clearly. And he said we must be conscientious to use the Lord's property for the Lord's service. And then we'll be like in the consciousness of Hanuman, the great devotee, that he didn't use the property of the Lord for his sense gratification. He used it exclusively, Ananya Bhakti, in the service of his worshipable Lord. Now, we all are aware of Valmiki Muni. Before he became a recipient of mercy to give us the Ramayana, he was a robber and a murderer. Oh yes. He would plunder innocent people on the road and take everything from them. But by chance it happened one time he associated with that great devotee. Who? Narada Muni. And Narada Muni requested him to chant the holy name of Rama. But Valmiki said, I am a murderer, I am a thief. I have nothing to do with chanting the holy name. I am not qualified to do this. So how did Narada Muni trick him? Give him the microphone.
Narad Muni told him to chant Mara, Mara. So 2 times Mara, it forms one.
What's the meaning of Mara?
Means killing.
Yeah, because he was a murderer, he was killing.
Yes.
And then?
And that's how Narad Muni tricked him. And 2 times when we chant Mara, Mara.
Chant.
Mara, 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 Mara.
Nice. So that's how he became connected to Ramayana, to the mercy of Narada Muni. But Narada Muni is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Narayana. He's connected to Narayan. So that indicates, as Prabhupada says in the purport, that Lord Ramachandra is full in Aishwarya. He is good as Narayan. Because Narada Muni helped him to chant the name Rama. Now it's quite famous that when Lord Ramachandra was on the way to Lanka, many people in India believe that he worshipped the deity of Lord Shiva at Rameshwar. But Srila Prabhupada said they are ignorant. And they will say that, see, Shiva is supreme, Ram is subordinate to Shiva. Again, Prabhupada said they are ignorant. Prabhupada said actually the opposite is true. Shiva himself is a great devotee of Rama, and sometimes the Lord likes to serve his devotees. And Srila Prabhupada gave the example, just as Krishna used to carry Nanda Maharaj's shoes. So therefore even Lord Ramachandra liked to become a Bhakta Vatsala. He wants to serve his devotees. But that doesn't mean to say that Nanda Maharaj is God if Krishna is carrying Nanda Maharaj's shoes. It doesn't mean to say Arjuna is the Supreme Lord if Krishna drove his chariot as Parthasarathi. Doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean to say that Krishna washed the feet of Sudama Brahman, so Sudama Brahman is the Supreme. He's just Bhakta Vatsala, he's very affectionate. Yes. So Ram wanted to serve his devotee, Shiva. But there's a reason for that. Then Srila Prabhupada said that some people say that Ravana was a great devotee of Lord Shiva, which may be partly true. And Rama wanted to take permission from Shiva when he worshipped him in Rameshwaram to go and kill Ravana. In other words, they concoct it basically. They say that Lord Ramachandra had a conversation with Shiva at Rameshwaram and said, look, I'm going to kill your devotee, don't interfere. which is kind of not true. See? So a disciple once raised this question to Srila Prabhupada on a morning walk on Juhu Beach in Mumbai. And Srila Prabhupada replied that people who claim that Rama wanted to take Shiva's permission to kill Ravana want to prove that Shiva is a rascal. That he would give permission for someone to kill his devotee by saying, oh yes, Ravana is my devotee, it's all right, kill him. So when people say like that, they are making Shiva a rascal, not Ramachandra. But this is not true. So Prabhupada responded like that. Then he said, Srila Prabhupada explained, we are not saying Shiva is a rascal, but they are saying indirectly. Yeah. And he quoted from Shastra, similar to like, Rake Krishna, Mare ke, and Mare Krishna, Rake ke. That if Lord Ramachandra wants to kill somebody, nobody can save him. And if Lord Ramachandra wants to save somebody, nobody can destroy him. So Prabhupada quoted like that. Okay. So another time, when Ram was about to kill Ravana, Parvati, the wife of Lord Shiva, she came to him. Hare, Ravana is your great devotee. Why are you just sitting here and doing nothing? Do something. Then Lord Shiva replied to Parvati, my dear Devi, if Lord Ramachandra has come to kill Ravana, nobody can save him now. And again Prabhupada quoted, but he's using Rake Rama, Mare ke, Mare Rama, Rake ke. Again Prabhupada, if Ramachandra wants to protect somebody, nobody can kill. And if Ramachandra wants to kill somebody, nobody can give him protection. Whoever Prabhupada, whoever he may be. Then you know about that famous pastime with Hanuman, and sometimes they say it's a squirrel. You know this? So a little incident took place. It's very instructive for us actually to learn from how to look at Ananya Bhakti of others. See? So after Ram cast his glance on the ocean personified came, you may use my waters as you like. How may I serve you? And then the ocean personified said, please go and kill Ravana. We all are waiting for that. And you can build a bridge over my waters and spread your transcendental fame. So Lord Ramachandra's Vanara soldiers were chanting Ram's name, pushing those stones, boulders, rocks, partial pieces of the mountains into the making of the bridge. Like that. So at the shore there was a small squirrel. And the squirrel was, in his own way, was taking little grains of sand and putting into the ocean to basically contribute to the effort to serve Lord Ramachandra, to build the bridge and go to Lanka. So Hanuman was like, in a frenzy, he said, we have to build this bridge quickly. So Hanuman in his frenzy almost, with his large feet, almost, he stopped like that. And he chastised the squirrel. He said, what would you accomplish with your little grains of sand? Can't you see that I am throwing huge boulders? Get out of my way. So the squirrel, and Hanuman was surprised that the squirrel could also speak. So the squirrel, he lifted his front paws, Hanuman. Hanuman said, huh? He looked at his front paws and in very humble, soft tone, but I also want to serve Ram too. Hanuman said, what did you say? Speak louder. So when the squirrel said in a more louder voice but in a humble tone, I also want to serve Lord Ram just as you are serving. So Lord Ram was nearby and he overheard the exchange between Hanuman and the squirrel. And he came to Hanuman, my Lord, I am busy. Now, I want to speak to you. This squirrel also wants to serve me just like you. But this squirrel is serving to his capacity to the fullest. Just as you are trying to serve for the fullest. So in my consciousness, you both are the same. And Hanuman, after all, I am the one who's making all these boulders float, not you. Hanuman was actually severely chastised and became humbled. So it's a very instructive point for us that the qualification to engage in devotional service, Ananya Bhakti, is not relative. It's your serving to your full capacity, which may be different from other persons. And that should be honored, respected, given enthusiasm, inspired to continue. See? That's most important. Then His Holiness Brihat Swami used to be, perhaps he was the first devotee to go to South India and preach on behalf of Prabhupada. And he arrived in Madras, which is the current Chennai. He was alone. So there are so many historians, there are so many philosophers, there are so many religionists and so many so-called intellectuals who all feel very strongly that Ram is an ordinary man, even right here in India and especially in South India. And consequently they do offend Rama. Yeah. So the first time when His Holiness Brihat Swami went to Madras, which is Chennai, there was one political party who was in control of the state. I forget the full name, but the initials are called DMK. I don't know what that stands for. Not important. Dravida something. Yeah. So they fully were convinced that Ram is an ordinary human being from North India and he came to conquer South India, which is not good. Thus he is the enemy, and they were propagating, the chief minister was from the DMK, he was propagating this, that this Ram is an enemy of the South Indians. And the real hero in South India is Ravana. Rascals. So the DMK, because they were ruling and had influence, they wanted to establish this truth, that Ravana is the hero and Rama is the villain or the demon. Can you see how extreme they have gone that to? And they became so aggressive about it that during Ram Vijay Utsava, when they used to see the devotees in the North India put an effigy of Ravana and they shoot arrows, right? And kill him and he burns. They said, we will copy that. See? We will copy that. So what did they do? They made an effigy of Lord Ramachandra. And they didn't burn. They made it worse. They collected old shoes, old discarded shoes, and they made a garland. And they put it on the effigy of Lord Rama. Such extreme demons, demoniac. DMK. So Srila Prabhupada heard about this. Heard about this. And he said, don't worry. They won't be much in power anymore. For that offense, the DMK never came into power after that. They lost everything. Just as Ravana lost everything. By trying to kill Ramachandra. They lost everything. History repeats itself. And there's another beautiful explanation by Srila Prabhupada, which is Ananya Bhakti. This Ananya Bhakti word has entered my heart from the morning, from Radhesham Prabhu, and I'd like to read this about Jatayu. Amazing how Prabhupada says this. This is a lecture from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, Chapter 9, Text 9, in Mayapur on March 1st, 1977. Srila Prabhupada says, so this movement is based on practical activity. Whatever you have got, or in whatever position you are, you can serve Krishna. Not that you have to learn something first and then you can serve. No. The service itself is learning. The more you try to render service, the more you become advanced how to become experienced servant. We don't require any extra intelligence. Excuse me. We don't require any extra intelligence. He is an animal. He is not a Brahmana. He is not a Vedantist. Hanuman was animal. Jatayu was a bird. So how are they satisfied? The Jatayu fought with Ravana. Yesterday you saw Ravana was kidnapping Sita Devi, and Jatayu the bird, he was going, flying. Ravana knew how to fly without machine. He was very, very materially powerful. So the Jatayu attacked him on the sky. Who are you? You are taking away Sita. I shall fight you. So Ravana was very powerful. He was defeated, Jatayu, but he fought. That is his service. Never mind defeated. Similarly, we have to fight. Those who are opposing Krishna consciousness movement, we have to fight with them to our best capacity. Never mind if we are defeated. That is also service. Krishna sees the service. Defeated or victorious depend on Krishna. Just like Jatayu was defeated fighting with Ravana. His wings were cut off. Ravana was very strong. And Lord Ramachandra, he did his last funeral ceremonies because he was a devotee. This is the process. Not that we have to learn something extra. Whatever capacity we have got, let us decide to render service to the Lord. It doesn't require that you must be very rich or very beautiful, very bodily strong. Nothing of that sort. Savai pumsam paro dharmo, ito bhakti radhokshaja, hayutaki apratihata. Srimad Bhagavatam 1-6. In any condition, your devotional service should not be stopped. That should be the principle, that we are not going to stop any circumstance, whether there's victory or defeat, whether there's no result, whether there's success or failure, we continue to serve. And Prabhupada glorified Jatayu in that regard. Srila Prabhupada ki. You have any comments or questions? And then I'll conclude after taking the comments and questions about one pastime, how it is related in Ram Lila and Krishna Lila. That's very short actually. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj ji, for giving this wonderful session.
What is your nice name?
Kamal Nath Das.
Kamal?
Kamal Nath Das.
So you said it was a wonderful session.
Yes, Maharaj ji.
What was wonderful?
your explanation about that squirrel and Hanuman's incidents.
Oh, you love that, huh?
I really loved that.
Nice. You have children?
No, I am recently married. Last year I got married.
You have nephews or nieces? Small?
Yeah.
So you should know that they can serve to their capacity too. They may be little, they can also serve to their capacity. They don't have to be very learned and experienced. Now what is your nice question?
Maharajji, as Squirrel and Hanuman, they both were serving Lord to the best of their capacity.
Yes.
But in the name of financial security for the future and in the name of maintaining our family and professional responsibility, sometimes I feel I'm not able to assist financially to the degree I can, and I'm not able to assist in preaching to the degree I can. So I feel I'm not able to help or assist to best of my capacity. So please.
See, I can help you.
Yes.
You ready?
Yes, Maharajji.
You see, if you meet with me with your wife, not separately, then we can analyze clearly how much you're earning and how do you utilize the money. And you will see, you always can give more.
Yes, Maharajji. So,
But I have to meet with you privately.
certainly,
But
Maharajji.
with Mataji.
Surely,
She's
Maharajji.
here.
She's not here. She will join when there will be Abhishek.
But she's seeing in that, right?
Yes, like
She's seeing.
hopefully she is
What's her
watching.
name again?
Kamal Nath Das.
Kamalnath Prabhu. What's her name?
Ankita.
Ankita, Hare Krishna. We're having meeting.
So
See, if you don't know how to increase your service, even giving some financial remuneration for the financial donation, not remuneration for the service, we can help you with that. That's easy for us.
yeah, so that is one thing, and another thing is to get that mindset, to come into that mindset.
Okay, let me give you a practical example.
Yes.
That's for everybody. That's for everybody. What's the next regular, popular festival that comes up for devotees and those who are aspiring devotees or potential devotees? I'm not saying non-devotees, they're potential. Okay? Like a regular festival where they have to buy new clothes. What's the next one? Akshaya Tritiya. And it's coming soon? What date? 3rd May. Any microphone here? Where's only one microphone? Let's see who's my transcendental victim amongst the Matajis. Ki Jai. Would like to volunteer to make a point. I'll help you along. Come on. Don't pass the microphone. Please stand, we can get your full darshan, then we know what's happening. Stand.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
What's your name?
Sunanda. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Sunanda.
Yeah.
So in Akshaya Tritiya you'll wear new clothes
As per Vaishnav calendar, it is 4th of May.
and you'll get new clothes for that day.
What I heard from my parents is that we purchase gold in that particular day.
Gold! That's even more nice. That Mataji next to you, what's her name? On your right side? No, right, immediately on your right side. Glasses here.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Say Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Sorry.
Say Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
I'm a king, see, sitting big.
Sorry.
What's your name?
Abhidya Gargi.
Huh?
Abhedya Gargi.
Avidya.
Abhedya.
I thought Avidya.
No, it's Abhedya.
Vidya.
Abhedya.
Abidya. Was like a Bengali or something.
No, it's Marathi.
Marathi. Abidya. You
Abhedya.
have children, huh? You have children?
No, I'm not married yet.
Yet.
It will be happening.
Okay, give the microphone to our Mataji who was initiated and has children. The one behind you, she's popping her head up. See behind you. This is good. Nice name.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
And what's your nice name?
Nandarani Yashoda Devi Dasi.
Nandarani Yasoda Mataji. You have children, right?
Yes, Maharaj, one son.
One son. Where is he?
Jaydev.
Jayadev Goswami. Let's chant for Jayadev Goswami. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama. You have another microphone for Jayadev? I mean, she's not going to get a daughter-in-law. He's Goswami, you know. Done. Brahmacharya Ashram. Yasoda Nandarani. Yasoda Nandarani. The name, right? Yeah. Nandarani Yasoda. Oh, I didn't reinitiate you the other way. Okay. Now Nandarani Yasoda Mataji. So Jayadev Prabhu. Stand up. Hey, he just popped up. So Jayadev Prabhu, you want new clothes for Akshaya Tritiya? Yes or no? Say quickly now. You can tell me. We'll sort it out. Yes or
Maharaj.
He's brahmachari. Simple, you know.
Maharaj.
Nandarani Yasoda, I'm speaking first, then you speak. Are you going to buy him some new clothes for Akshaya Tritiya?
Maharaj, Akshaya Tritiya is my birthday, my Tithi birthday.
And you got Prabhu to buy you some gold. Right?
Generally, I...
No. Yes or no?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes or no? Don't give big purport. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. See. Otherwise they purport. Yes. So now, and generally you wear new clothes, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes or no?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes. Prabhu is here.
No, Maharaj, he's in some other seva, so he couldn't.
Jayadev will report to him, don't worry. Right. So now you are buying new clothes for yourself. Right. So those new clothes will cost about, how much? Like 1 lakh or?
Maharaj, I just wear very simple, not more
No, we don't want you to qualify. I just asked you for the amount. You answer my question. Don't give me a lecture. How much?
500 to 1,000.
For new clothes. Mataji, you believe this? If you have brahmacharya in the ashram, she'll come and join. Okay, say 5,000 rupees, right?
Yes, Maharaj.
Like a decent sari, you know. So what you can do is, I'm answering your question now. Because Mataji will take you shopping on Akshaya Tirtha, your wife. So what you can do is, if you're spending 5,000 rupees on some cloth, then you divide it into half. You divide it into, and you spend 2,500 rupees, and the other 2,500 rupees, you take someone from your neighborhood who's not a devotee,
Not a
devotee. But there may be some like young girl in the house or a young boy or even the Mataji, and they cannot afford afford new clothes on Akshaya Tirtha. And you say, let's go shopping, I'm buying you something, same price what I pay, then we buy you something like that. That's how you make them devotee. Then you say, now on Akshaya Tirtha we come to Hare Krishna temple with a new outfit, that's how you introduce them to Krishna consciousness.
Haribo.
You get any?
Yes, Maharaj.
Yes. So that's what we'll do slowly, one cost after another when we have this private meeting. In other words, we're not taking your money. You should know how to spend it to make potential devotees devotee. That's the main thing. Get it? And another thing you can do, don't tell the other person, including a devotee, that you don't like him or don't like her. Don't say it, because they don't know. In an Akshaya Tirtha, and even today, Sri Ram Navami, you should give a gift to somebody you don't like, so your dislike will leave you. It's easy to give a gift and soothing, affectionate words to somebody you're attached to and love. But what about those you discriminate, you have a prejudice? One has to remove dislike. We're not talking about jealousy and envy, that's worse, just dislike. Because dislike cannot be serious because it's part of karma chemistry. It's part of somehow they have a set of guna and karma and you have a set of guna and karma. It just doesn't is not compatible. This doesn't match. So you have to remove that by giving a gift to a person you do not like. But make sure it's a Krishna conscious gift, not a gift to attract them for sense gratification. You getting another way? Yeah. In this way, your life becomes simple. Life becomes, because your heart is extending. Not just your immediate family and those you like, family and friends. Your heart is extending and is expanding in its compassion. Have I answered your question? Do we still have to have that meeting? Still, huh? Grand BTG Marathon is coming. We'll engage you soon. Next question. Any of the Matajis, Vaishnavis, girls have any question? Raise your hand. Yes. Microphone there, please. What's your name?
My name is Samiksha Shirsagar.
Samiksha.
Yes.
So tell us your question.
So my question is that, in general, I want to ask that during Akshaya Tritiya, what devotional activities can be done to elevate ourselves in Krishna consciousness?
Who said Akshaya Tirtha? You?
Specifically.
No, she got contaminated with Akshaya Tirtha and you're forgetting about Ram Navami. And Akshaya Tirtha is the beginning of the hot season, very hot, and they apply chandan. Yeah. So in Akshaya Tirtha you can come to the temple and you can grind sandalwood paste. Right? You need help, huh?
Okay.
You'll do that? You came with Mama and Papa? Oh, I, Mama.
Father.
First father.
He's waiting for me outside temple.
Make sure you bring him inside temple. Okay. So you can ask Mataji, Nandini, Nandarani Yasoda, stand up. Go close to her, go and sit with her. So this is Nandarani Yasoda. She can do shopping on Akshaya Tirtha. If you want to go shopping with her, that's all right. But you help her, right? And then you give some prasadam to her father at the gate. Don't let him come in now. If he wants to come voluntarily, but just give him the prasad. And also, you should help her to come for Akshaya Tirtha to sandalwood. You make paste. Is that okay?
Okay.
You wanted some service, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, now you got it. Bless you.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj.
Other questions or comments? You can ask question, any type question. I like any type question. But it's Ram Navami also. Microphone here. Abhijit. Okay, Abhijit. Microphone. Microphone. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, Abhijit, tell us.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I wanted to ask you one question. Recently I heard a lecture. It was mentioned that...
1 minute. We should always respect people in their absence, even if they are right or wrong. We never speak behind people's back. So you started, recently I heard in a lecture, you started with those words? Yes or no?
Yes, Maharaj.
So is it something that's complimentary or something that's contradictory?
No, I wanted to ask one thing that
1 minute.
Yes,
You're asking me a question.
yes, Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj.
Is your question contradictory for me to answer, or is it complimentary?
Actually, it's
Maybe my words are too not standard for you in English. English is my first language. You're going to ask me a question by referring to something you heard in a lecture. Is it like opposite to what we are discussing, or is it the same?
No, it's not opposite. I just wanted, where is it mentioned? Yes, Maharaj.
Then.
Yes, Maharaj.
Everyone's learning. We should always respect persons in their absence. We never speak behind people's back. And on top of that, even if they are right or wrong, we respect every living entity, so we don't commit offenses. So now, follow my lead. Use the words, what if, say?
What if?
Don't say, what if I heard in a recent lecture, not like that. What if I feel, in the first person, and tell us the point. Don't quote somebody else.
Yes, Maharaj. I heard that... What?
Don't say what if I heard. He's being trained because all of us are conditioned in the same way. This is part of interaction and interrelationships with devotees. We should discuss issues of behavior, not people. Say what if?
What if I heard?
It is good. It's actually very good what he's doing, because we make the same mistakes repeatedly because of our conditioning. Haribo, you know better than him? Naughty. You should stuff him with rasgulla. You're making rasgulla today for the feast? No. Kitchen department.
Yes, Maharaj.
Speak in the first person or say what if.
What if I feel that there's a mention about...
You see, it's not so easy. It's not so
easy.
Because of our deep conditioning that we commit offenses in people's absence. Let's try again. What if I feel, you did well there.
What if I feel that there is no mention about Lakshman Rekha in Valmiki Ramayana, so I wanted to know where is it mentioned, in which Ramayana?
Where is it mentioned?
Yes, Maharaj.
Do you accept that Lakshman put a protective circle?
I saw in some...
Ramanand Sagar.
Yes. And
but do you accept there's a protective circle?
Yes, what I saw in all those.
Do you accept that Ravana cannot come over it? That's common knowledge.
Yes, Maharaj.
Do you accept Ravana cannot come into that hermitage? Do you accept that?
Yes, Maharaj.
So there must be. But I'll give you the detail.
Yes, Maharaj.
So when Sita heard the imitative voice of Marich, "Oh, Sita, please help." Lakshman knew very well that's an impersonation. It is not Lord Ramachandra. Now, Sita felt, "It is my Lord. It is my Lord." So how is it that Lakshman knew it's not Ramachandra crying out for help, but an impersonation of his voice, and Sita didn't know? That's the first question we'll answer. Because that's how it will come to this protective circle. Yes. The example is given just like Jayadev, Prabhu, Goswamiji, stand up. He's popped up again. Just like you get Nandarani Yasoda, that's his son Jayadev. Now Jayadev is not at home, but he was playing with his cousin, a little older cousin. So Jayadev is gone to his friend's house next door. See? But Jayadev doesn't want his mother to know that he went next door. So he put his cousin in the room. See? So Nandarani, Yasoda, "Jayadev, where are you?" Who's in the room? What's your cousin's name, Jayadev? Say, okay, his cousin's name is Gulab Jamun. So Gulab Jamun there, he's imitating Jayadev's. "Mama, I'm here." Oh, good. She believes that's her son, right? Although it is somebody else impersonating the voice. So that's how Sita is. Anything that reminds Sita about Ram, she immediately has so much affection for him. That's the point. See? So Sita is in rasa. But Lakshman must follow instruction. That's dharma. I explained this a little bit the other day. Because Sita doesn't need to feel that she's unprotected. But Ram has given Lakshman an order. "You protect Sita. I am going." So that's dharma. And prior to that, when they were being trained in the military arts, when was it Vishwamitra or Vashishta trained them? Who trained them? Vashishta Muni. Yeah. So Vashishta Muni asked Lakshman for Guru Dakshin. And Lakshman gave a unique Guru Dakshin. And Lakshman told Vashishta, "My dear Swami or Muni, my Guru Dakshin is that anybody who tells me to disobey the order of my brother, Lord Ramachandra, I will kill immediately." Now Sita is hearing Lakshman's saying that this is not Ram's voice. "No, it is. He called out for you and me. I can't go. I can stay here, but you can go." Lakshman said, "My dear," she's elder to him, sister-in-law. "Yeah. Please, I can't do this." And Lakshman never ever saw the lotus face of Sita. He only saw her lotus feet. And he bowed down and he pleaded, "No, I cannot leave you. She asked, why? Because I'm following the order of Lord Ramachandra, that I must always protect you. But she insisted. She insisted. She will say anything for him to go and help Lord Ramachandra. Even if she loses her own life, go and save my pati. She was that desperate. I don't want to mention what she said. So when Lakshman heard her unpalatable words, for the first time he lifted his head and he looked her straight in the face and into her eyes, and Sita became scared. Because Lakshman was so angry that the very person he has to protect, he has to kill. Because of that vow. Anybody who tells me to disobey the order of Lord Ramachandra, I will kill immediately. But the person is about to kill, he has to protect. Never happened in any Leela, including in Krishna Leela, this one. He was confused, and he looked at her, and she was scared because the first time she looked at him, she knows him, but the first time he looked at her, he stood up, and his eyes became copper red. Copper red. And she felt as if he's going to burn the whole universe or something, you know. So without speaking, Lakshman put his hand to his, what do you call it, archery? Kuda. And he invoked, took out an Agni Astra, and he put it to his eyes. And as soon as he put it to his eyes, the copper red eyes turned to become peaceful. And that potency entered into the arrow. And he took the arrow and he shot it into the ground. Sita's, go, go, go! No, he shot it into the ground. And he took that arrow and he made that, which they call, in other words, Lakshman Rekha. There's other words for it. And he made that. So Sita said, go! He said, no, I cannot. Because I'm breaking another vow. I am not meant to instruct you. In order to protect you, I now have to instruct you. She said, give me unlimited instruction, but just tell me quickly and go. She said, don't cross the circle. Whatever happens, whoever comes, don't cross this circle. But that's an Agni Astra. From Sita's side, she cannot see the fire. She cannot see the wall of fire. But when Ravana disguise came, he could see that fire. And the same Agni Astra was shot again onto the ground when Maya or Chaya Sita in Lanka came from Ashokvan wood. Hanuman, Maya Sita told Lakshman, light fire. He's not accepting me because Lord Ramachandra said, I did not fight this war to kill Ravana and to get you back. I only fought this war because I am meant to uphold the dharma of the Raghu dynasty. That is why I am doing this, not to come and take you. Anyway, you have been here for 4 months. I don't know what happened. Then Sita told Lakshman, light fire. At that time, Lakshman took a vow, never younger brother again. Too much suffering. Too much? And he took the same Agni Astra, and he shot it. That same fire circle that was meant to protect Sita, now that same fire is putting Maya Sita into flames. And I mentioned this in yesterday's class, that our Agni from Parvati's abode would swaha, 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 Swaha. That is Agni's consort. So Agni's consort made like a filament wrapped around Sita, actual Sita. Ravana didn't take that. I mentioned that in yesterday's class. And then that fiery arrow, again Agni came. That is the same Lakshman.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Can you imagine? What a dilemma of Lakshman. That he took a vow. Anybody who tells me to disobey the order of Ram, I kill. But the very person he's saying to disobey the order, he has to protect. Never happened in the history of the Lord's Leela like that. What time we? Take more questions. What do we do? Okay, there's one hand up there, another one here. I saw that one first. So Radhesham Prabhu is mercifully blessing us to take one more question, but I'm not sure how long the answer will be.
Hare.
What's your name?
Pavan Nitai Das. Pavan Nitai Das.
You said it twice, say it thrice.
Pavan Nitai Das.
I got it now. In a Kali Yuga, hard of hearing. Yes, Pavan Nitai Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, even till date, people talk about Ram Rajya. Like today is Ram Navami, so Ram Rajya is heard even today. So my question, Maharaj, is that how people desire good administration. So whether having good administration, even our society, ISKCON society, would it help to attract more people and manage better? Or we do not have to work on it and we have to just let things be spontaneous?
There are two features to answer your question. One is called a Daivi Varna Ashram Dharma, which is called human life and spiritual life. You get animal life in human life. You know what that is, right? People are like two-legged animals and they do activities of animal nature. So that's animal life in human life. And then there's human life in human life, which is called Daivi Varna Ashram Dharma. And then there's spiritual life in human life, which is called Krishna consciousness. We okay so far? Yeah. So in order to have Ram Ragya, the kingdom of Ram with Ram, just as when he was here, then we have to train people in human life in human life. That is Daivi Varna Ashram Dharma. Then you have to train future Kshatriyas. Future Kshatriyas. There should be some school like that to train future Kshatriyas. And when you train a future Kshatriya, that Kshatriya will become so powerful that by his Brahma Tejas, by his own Shakti, by his own potency, even a bullet he can deflect. You know bullet? Because it doesn't go with bodyguards. When bullet come, he can deflect with his Shakti. So that kind of Kshatriya you need, who's a devotee of the Lord, which is spiritual life in human life, to get Ram Ragya again. That's why they call Raja Rishis. Raja means king, and Rishi means a saintly king. You know? You know the verse in Bhagavad Gita? Try.
No, I don't remember that verse actually.
Who knows the verse? Microphone. Evam parampara praptam imam rajasayu vidu. Okay? So we have to follow Bhagavad Gita. There has to be Raja Rishis for that to happen. Like if you take a young man, like a young boy, like say Jayadev Goswami behind you, if he has that inclination, then send him to a special school. The first thing he has to learn is horse riding. What he has to learn? Yeah, Kshatriya first learns horse riding. And Prabhupada said that when somebody can ride horses, they gain 108% self-confidence. 108%? And Prabhupada said the horse is the most beautiful animal because of its tail. So the first thing the Kshatriya must learn from a young age is horse riding. Just like our Kalki avatar comes on a white horse, to sort things out. So we shall conclude, eh? I have one more pastime to conclude. So in Srila Rupa Goswami's Padyavali, and this is also attributed to Srila Bilva Mangala Thakur. There's a beautiful verse, and I'll read it for you. Ramo nama babuva hum tad abalasiteti hum tampitur vacha panchavati vane viharatas tasyaharad ravana idatham janaki katam iti hare karata shrinvataha saumitrakva danur iti Vyagragiri Pantuna. What does this mean? So Mother Yasoda is telling Krishna a bedtime story. And she said there was once a king named Rama. And Krishna, bedtime. He's not like completely conscious of what's going on. He said, And then Mother Yasoda says, and his wife is Sita. And then when they went to the Panchavati forest, by his father's order, Ravana came and kidnapped Sita. Now the pastime was intended to put Krishna to sleep. Nidra, yoga nidra. But immediately when he heard Ravana came for Sita, he immediately got up and he looked at his mother with fiery eyes and he jumped up, and he said these words. He jumped up. He said, Sumitrikva danur. He's saying, Lakshman, Sumitra, bring my bow. So Mother Yasoda is looking at him. And Krishna is looking. Don't you know that Ravana is coming to take Sita? Mother Yasoda said, okay. I meant to tell you that. How do you know this? How do you know this? So she thought he was haunted by ghost. So he said, I'll tell you another story. And she pacified him by discussing the glories of Hanuman. And then he peacefully was sleeping. Because she was discussing Hanuman's naughtiness, when he was young. Because he was also naughty. Shri Ram Navami Mahamotsava ki. Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ki. Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki. Shri Gaur Nitai ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Now the next part. there's a grand, and it can only be grand if you participate. Prabhu,